Welcome to the Comics and Lit summary of Hamlet, Act 2. Act 2, Scene 1. Polonius enters the stage with a servant, Rinaldo, whom he instructs to go to Paris to spy on his son, Laertes. He proposes that Rinaldo mingle amongst Laertes' friends and mention rumours about poor behaviour, such as drinking or wildness, to test their reactions and judge Laertes' character. Rinaldo agrees, reluctantly, and exits. A distressed Ophelia then enters and describes how Hamlet entered her room looking dishevelled and seemingly in a confused state, grabbed her by the wrist and stared at her silently. Eventually, she recalls Hamlet released her and exited without a word. Following her account, Polonius says he will speak with the king, reasoning that Hamlet's love for Ophelia has made him wild with sickness. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings. Ophelia confirms to her father she had been returning Hamlet's letters and avoiding him, as he instructed. Polonius says he regrets the advice, and the pair exit to see the king. Analysis. In this scene, Shakespeare creates dramatic irony, a technique by which the audience knows more than the characters on stage. The audience is well aware that Hamlet's bizarre and wild behaviour could be faked as a way of hiding his intentions to uncover the truth behind his father's death. This heightens the suspense and intrigue in the scene. In addition, Polonius' character is made to look pompous and overconfident, since his conclusion that Hamlet's behaviour is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself, is clearly incorrect. The juxtaposition of love and violence here speaks of Polonius' concern that Hamlet is losing his mind, leading the audience to question his overconfidence, since from Hamlet's prior words to his friends that he will show an antic or bizarre disposition, the audience is well aware that Hamlet's behaviour is likely cunning and duplicitous rather than mad. Act 2, Scene 2. At court, Claudius and Gertrude meet with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, two of Hamlet's friends from Wittenberg. Claudius welcomes them and asks them to help Hamlet recover from his grief and to investigate Hamlet's strange behaviour. They both respectfully agree to follow the king's instructions before Gertrude instructs the attendants to take them to Hamlet, and they exit. Next, Polonius enters and soon introduces two ambassadors from Norway, Voltimand and Cornelius. The ambassadors report that old Fortinbras, king of Norway, has rebuked his nephew, young Fortinbras, for threatening Denmark and instructed him to attack the Poles instead. They ask Claudius for permission for Prince Fortinbras's armies to pass through Denmark on their way to attack the Poles. Claudius, relieved to have averted war, says he will deal with the matter at another time, and the ambassadors exit. Polonius then reports his claim to the king that Hamlet has lost his mind due to his love for Ophelia. He then reads to them a letter Hamlet sent to Ophelia, where Hamlet confesses his love for her. Polonius repeats his concern to the king and the queen and suggests they spy on Hamlet whilst Ophelia confronts him to see for themselves if Hamlet's madness is inspired by his love for Ophelia. Gertrude notices Hamlet is approaching, reading a book, and Polonius urges them to exit so he can speak with him. Alone with Polonius, Hamlet speaks in strange and disturbed language. Yet within his riddles, Polonius picks up hidden insults about his age and overconfidence. Polonius remarks in an aside that Hamlet's words, though mad, are pregnant with meaning. Soon after, he exits, keen to organise the meeting between Ophelia and Hamlet. Next, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern enter. Hamlet asks them why they have come, then dismisses their reply, saying he knows the king has sent for them. Hamlet then describes his deep feelings of melancholy, where he deems everything pointless. Rosencrantz smiles, asking Hamlet how he will respond to a troupe of actors they met on the way to the castle, who soon arrive. Polonius enters, announcing the arrival of the actors. Hamlet speaks with them, asking them to perform a moving speech from the play Hecuba and Priam, and is impressed by their talents. He then asks them to perform a play named The Murder of Gonzago for the king the next evening. The actors agree, and Hamlet gets their permission to include a short speech he will write to include in the play. The other characters exit, and Hamlet, now alone, reflects on the skill of the actor who delivered such an intense and true emotion, yet criticises his own lack of emotion and action after the real murder of his father. He eventually calms down and devises a plan to make the actors perform a scene which closely resembles the murder of his father. He believes, through watching the response of Claudius, he will thus be able to confirm the truth of Claudius's treachery. Analysis. This very complex scene revolves around Hamlet's shifting personality and emotions. Consider first how Shakespeare explores the depths of Hamlet's melancholy in his conversation with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. In these famous lines, Hamlet speaks of the greatness of humans. What piece of work is man? The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. But his lofty language is quickly contrasted with imagery of death and decay in, and yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? The rhetorical question confirms Hamlet's obsession with death and destruction, reconfirming to the audience his depressive state of mind. Later in the scene, the arrival of the acting troupe creates a shift in tone, as Hamlet, seemingly energized, creates a complex plot to catch out Claudius. Shakespeare uses a lengthy soliloquy to finish the scene, where Shakespeare uses repetitive questions that reveal Hamlet's self-disgust with his lack of action. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my patercross, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat, as deep as the lungs? Who does me this? Following this, there is a sense of irony since Hamlet tries to take action, yet his plan, though clever, can be read as an excuse to delay confronting Claudius. Shakespeare explores the theme of action and inaction here, as Hamlet's plans, which show cunning and intelligence, also delay any real act of revenge. In "The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king," the audience is left wondering if Hamlet is truly capable of revenge.